Rutherford in the main straightaway, being challenged by Gordon Johncock for second place at turn 1. All three cars high to miss that bump, and there's Johncock to the inside. Gordon Johncock in the Patrick Racing Team blue and white car goes into second place. Johnny Rutherford drops to third. Gordon Johncock is in second. Remember that dramatic, great battle that Johncock perpetrated with Mario Andretti out here? It was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen in those kind of cars. He just went side by side, lap after lap against Mario Andretti. Here he is scooting around. Johnny Rutherford taking over second place Johncock and closing on the leader, Mears, into turn 1.
He's making his point about the four-cylinder engine. Oh, that looks a little low to me.
Well, that car can hang in low. It did in the last race, too. Just gets down there and works so well. Back straight away. That's a second-place car. Closing. Moving up. Into turn 3. Still, Mears with the Penske car in front. Into the main straightaway. Gordon Johncock is just a few car lengths back from the leader. They have completed now. The consultation flag is out. A black flag is out for Dan Gurney's car. Consultation flag just being displayed here to Dan Gurney's automobile. They have just completed the 40th lap. 40th lap is completed. Joe Saldano comes across the line running very slowly. Paul Page has a report on that short stop by Tommy Sneva. Let's go to it.
I think I know.
Well, Ken, apparently it was just an assessment of a penalty. Now, neither the Penske team nor I are really sure what happened on the race course, but apparently Tom Sneva just did something. USAC pulled him in, stopped him for a second, sent him out. That is his penalty.
Unser, Bobby Unser in the Gurney Eagle is on pit road.
I can give you a guess, Ken. I think that they did come into the pits earlier without permission.
And they're being penalized.
New rule.
They're being penalized a lap. I bet you like the new rule, Dan.
Just great. Now, the difference there was that our crew put on fuel and the Penske crew didn't.
They'd only been out a lap or two when they were brought in. Mears is first. Johncock is second, and Mears unrelenting in trying to hold on to that lead. Notice that the advantage is still very much Mears. He seems to have pulled away a bit now. Gained back about 150 feet from Johncock. It had been whittled away. Johncock had been reeling him in for about 4 laps. Now Mears has taken an extra brave pill as he goes down into turn number 3. That is right where Unser, right there. Unser backed in the wall and demolished one of the Jim Hall cars in practice for the last Texas 200 earlier this year. We'll be getting the interval between that first and second place car as they speed by here at the line. Diving beneath lap cars is Rick Mears. We're showing 43 laps now complete. Leader is still Mears. Johncock is in second. Rutherford is in third. Krisaloff is in fourth, while the 5th position is now A.J. Foyt. Foyt is up to 5th.
So Danya's still moving slowly down the back straightaway.
1,400 pounds of car, 34, 35 inches off the ground at its highest point, and flying in these straightaways well in excess of 200 miles an hour. And the track is very, very rough, very bumpy. Rick Mears, a sensational new name in the United States Auto Club Racing, is leading, going for his 3rd victory of the season. Can he hold on against Gordon Johncock, Johnny Rutherford? We'll see. Watching Gordon Johncock creep down to the inside and try to make a pass on the leader, Rick Mears, in this 200-mile United States Auto Club Championship car race. Backstretch, Mears in front. Gordon Johncock in second. Johncock creeping, crawling down the inside, has the advantage at turn 3.
Maybe.
Mears right back on the outside. Woo. For a kid, he sure can run.
Oh, tremendous driver, showing great maturity. He's up against the toughest there is, right there with Gordon Johncock.
Side by side in turn 1. Gordon Johncock down low. Mears hangs high on the outside, and he's back in front.
Mears' groove looks a little bit faster. There it is. That's pure horsepower, and it's costing him a lot of fuel, Ken.
Meanwhile, Sneva is back in the pits. Tom Sneva comes back in the pits. When they come by this time, halfway. 50 laps down, 50 laps to go. Caution, or rather, the halfway mark is on the field. Here are the leaders coming by. First and second place. Sneva is still in. Sneva is still in, and something is really amiss on that automobile. Johncock pulling away. Sneva apparently killed the engine. They're changing that right front tire. A lot of work on that Penske automobile. Meanwhile, the leader is Gordon Johncock. Here he is at turn number 4. Advantage about 25 car lengths. Trouble up in turn 2. One car has socked the wall hard in the second turn. It is Pancho Carter, car number 8, in the wall in the second turn, unhitching the belts. The 5-point belt system snaps off one yank, and we are under caution for the second time. Pancho Carter's car coming out of that second turn, crunching. We could see pieces of rubber flying off the car.
A little difficult to run across the track at this moment. He's pulling his radio communication system off also.
Pancho Carter been running back in the 7th and 8th positions of recent in this car number 8 of the Fletcher Racing Team. It's in the wall. It is the second caution of the day, and it comes in the 51st lap, lap number 51. They are now taking parts off car number 71. That was the car that Schneider started to get Sneva back in the race to try to hold on to first place in the national standings. There you see Roger Penske working with the crew down there as they're grafting some parts off number 71 for Tom Sneva's car number 1, the defending national champion.
There's Pancho limping a little bit.
Still limping from
Looks
Phoenix.
fine. Yeah, I think he was having a little bit of difficulty getting out of the car. He may have hit pretty hard, and his former injury doesn't make him terribly agile, but he's quite all right.
Tom Sneva still sitting there anxiously waiting to get back in this race and try to defend his national crown. Average speed has been 169.861 miles per hour, and that'll take an elevator ride down as we're in the second caution of the day here in our live coverage of this 200-mile race from the Texas World Speedway at College Station, Texas. Sneva just sitting there waiting, hoping that he can get back in this thing. 400 points. Let's go to Paul Page in the pits.
But Ken, what they're going to do is take the shock absorber off of the backup car from the right rear of the car. They're going to replace it on Tom Sneva's car and put him back into the competition. Apparently a problem with the shock, though it's not defined here. They decided to change it.
Remember, there are 400 points for the victory, and the difference between the first and second position automobiles in the standings just isn't that much. It's about 632 right now, and if he finished back on this, we would have perhaps a new leader by the time we finished at Milwaukee, with Al Unser challenging in second and Wally Dallenbach in third. There is a special report from CBS News, and let's go to New York for that right now.
Saturday and Sunday, October the 28th and the 29th.
Well, those were the standings just prior to the caution here at the Texas 200, with Gordon Johncock leading, Rick Mears in second, Rutherford third, Chris Aloff in fourth, Bobby Unser in fifth, and they are all running in the same lap. As you see, they're taking away the Pancho Carter car, which has crashed and brought out the second caution of the day. We are now in the 52nd of 100 laps here at College Station, Texas. Tom Sneva is coming back on the track after his crew has done a magnificent job of repairing his machine as they cannibalize their training car, their T car, the one that Mario Andretti sometimes drives. George Schneider was driving today, and put him back in the race as he tries to maintain the #1 position in the United States Auto Club. Here is Gordon Johncock in the pits, and what a run he has made. from 15th position to take the lead. With Dan Gurney and Paul Page, I'm Ken Squire, and we'll be back for the green flag resumption in just a moment. At College Station, Texas, in this United States Auto Club Championship car race, we are working the 55th of 100 laps. We're under caution for the second time today. And John Rutherford has appropriated first place with the second position now belonging to A.J. Foyt, while in third is Rick Mears. Running fourth on the field would be Steve Krisaloff. In fifth is Gordon Johncock, and running in sixth is Bobby Unser. Those are the front six, and we're still a lap or two away from getting a restart on this event, I think. At least here's Johncock coming onto pit road. Gordon Johncock coming in under caution. We're also checking. Tom Steva has come back on the track as to how many laps he has lost. Car number 20, Gordon Johncock, now on pit road. Car number 1 is reported as 4 laps down. Car number 1 is reported as 4 laps down. Remind you that in the NFL preseason competition, it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. That's next Saturday, 3 p.m. CBS Sports kicking off its 23rd consecutive season of NFL coverage with a preseason game where the Cowboys taking on the Broncos in a rematch of Super Bowl 12. 4 laps down is car number 1. Tom Sneva. Tom Sneva running behind the leaders by 4 laps. The front 6 automobiles remain all in the same lap. The front 6 cars are all in the same lap, and the safety crews have now come around off turn number 4. Here is the pace car up in turn number 3, and directly behind him is McElreath. Johnny Rutherford is running out in front.
We do appreciate all the records that do assist here.
Looking for his second win in the second half of the season. And the McLaren, which was having all kinds of problems earlier, has certainly shown its stuff in the last 4 races. But the controversy we talked about earlier continues between the 4-cylinder, the Drake Offenhauser cars, and the Ford Cosworth V8s. And we talked to Johnny Rutherford about this to get his views. Here's what Johnny Rutherford had to say about it.
Well, I think that's an unfortunate corner that we have painted ourselves into because of the availability of engines and parts, the state of the art. Again, I referred to the V8 over the 4-cylinder. It's obvious that the V8 is a better, stronger racing engine. I have driven top engines of both, the 4-cylinder and the V8, and the V8 is a lot stronger. It's a lot better racing engine. So right now, the availability of engines and parts, if the 4-cylinder cars now were to place an order, I was just talking to someone who said they went to Cosworth to place an order for engines for next year, so they would have some and be competitive. They said April would be the earliest date they could receive an engine.
That's a long way off to wait for engines to get competitive with this field. We're getting ready for a restart. The pace car has dropped off in turn number 4, has come back on pit road. The green flag is about to be given the field as they come around for the 58th lap. And as they come to the line, the first car to the stripe would be car number 48, Dan Gurney's car. And I think, Dan, that means you're running on the end of that lead lap. Right or wrong?
Could be, Ken. I'm going to wait and see.
The leaders trying to close in are Mears in the 7 car, the 4 car of Rutherford, and the 14 automobile of A.J. Foyt. Joe Saldano just came by another lap, and it sounds like a popcorn machine out there. Now we're watching car number 48 in the front of the field as they come down off the corner. He could be on the tail end of the previous lap. The leader is being shown as number 14, A.J. Foyt. So Foyt in first, Rutherford in second, Mears in third, and they are indicating that the Bobby Unser car is running in 6th place on the tail end of the lead lap. Now there's A.J. Foyt going into turn number 2. Foyt with the advantage over Johnny Rutherford in second. Paul Page is standing by with one of the drivers out of the race.